It's Deja and Di-V, and welcome back to Squared. We are your Saturdays here on Squared, and for this week's video, we're going to be doing something really fun. It is creating our own fan fiction. Yes, we asked your guys' help on our Instagram, so we gave you guys some options for the story. That way, you guys are sort of making a story with us. And you guys voted, and we're going to put all of the ones with the highest votes in here. But before we get on with the video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below to the Square channel. So we tried picking popular people, popular topics, subjects, so that you guys would have fun when voting in this. So we tried making it be you two people. So for the love interest for the guy, we decided between either the Dolan twins or Jake Paul. 85% of the people said the Dolan twins, so that's who our love interest is going to be. For the name of the female character, it was between Joe Blackwell and Madison Lee. And 57% chose Madison Lee, so that is going to be the name of our female character. We actually wanted Joe Blackwell, but you guys really liked Madison Lee, so. And for the actual thing that the love interest has, something to make the story more interesting. We each said whether they should secretly be a vampire or a superhero, not the main girl, but the guy. The guy, and all of you guys, 68% of you guys said superheroes. So that one, we like superheroes. And then the last thing that we asked you guys is who the girl should be. Who should play the main girl, Madison Lee? And we had the choice between Selena Gomez or one of the twins on Squared to make things a little more interesting. And 68% of you guys said Selena Gomez, so that is going to be our female character. And now that we have everything situated on what you guys chose, we're going to go into the story and actually write it up, and let's see what we come up with. So for our story, we decided that we wanted to start it off a little bit different. We wanted to start it off in a coffee shop. It's going to start off with action right away. So Selena Gomez, aka Madison Lee, is going to be sitting in the coffee shop. She's just drinking her coffee. Maybe it's Starbucks, something like that. And a guy is going to come in, a robber. He comes in out of nowhere. He has a knife and a gun, and he's holding the cashier at gunpoint. Everyone inside of the coffee shop is frightened. Yeah, he's like, give me all the money, put it in the bag right now. And the coffee shop guy's like, dude, look, okay, just calm down. Please don't kill me, you know? Don't. So then afterwards, he's about to give him the money, and in walks in this guy, whatever, in a black hoodie. It's covering his face, so you can't really see him. You can't know his identity, you don't know. But he comes in, and he uses, what was it? His power. It's telekinesis. So he throws the guy against the wall. But before he throws the guy against the wall, the guy goes and says, hey, he points the knife towards the guy who walks in, get down on the ground. But he doesn't want to do that. So then afterwards, he takes the knife and he cuts him, and when he does, it cuts the boy's hand. And then he goes like this, and then he uses his powers and sends the guy flying against the wall. And that's very important. The coffee shop. And then the barista calls the cops. But before he flees the coffee shop, the girl, Madison Lee, gets a good look. She's frightened just like everyone else. They're all getting down. Yeah. She gets a good look at the guy. Not a good look, but she gets a good enough look to see his hair color. And she realizes it's a dark brown. She can't see his face. Yeah, she can't see his face or anything like that. And she's like, who is this mystery guy? So it's pretty good. She's fascinated. She's very fascinated. So the next day she goes to school. She's in high school. In her classroom, and she's talking to her friend Hannah, and she's telling her about this unbelievable story, because no one would believe you if you actually told this story. Everyone knows that something happened at the coffee shop. The thing that's unbelievable is a boy coming in and using telekinesis. So her friend Hannah's like, dude, you're lying, that didn't happen. So the next day, in walks this new kid. She has no idea who he is, but from the looks of it, she thinks he's pretty cute. And she's just kind of has this feeling that she's seen him somewhere, or she might know him from somewhere, but she can't put her finger on it. So while they're in class, the teacher is talking, blah, 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 and she just keeps looking over at him. And she's fascinated. She's very fascinated, but the guy, he's all sitting there like, you know what? I have a feeling someone's watching me. So he sort of giving her the side eye. He glances over at her like, What are you looking? He doesn't seem that nice. She turns around really quick and she's like, okay, dang, I've been caught. You know, he sees me. And when she turns around, she decides to give another look. And when she notices his hand is cut and there's a bandage over it. And she just kind of looks like, that's weird. She goes home, and while she's at home, things start showing up on the news about what happened at the coffee shop. But they're saying that it's completely different from the story she's telling, because the government obviously doesn't want anybody to think that people have superpowers. So they're changing up the story, making it all completely different. So it's nothing about how, like, she actually experienced everything going down at the coffee shop. So the next night, she ends up going to a party with her friend Hannah, and while she's at this party, the mystery boy is also at the party. And I just realized we never asked for you guys to give the mystery boy a name. Yeah, so we're just gonna have to use one of the Dolan twins' names. Their real names. Yeah, so we'll pick Ethan. Yeah. So Ethan is at this party, and Madison sees him, and she's like, And the entire time she just thinks that this whole situation is weird. One, what happened at the coffee shop is being covered up by the government, she assumes, so she thinks that's completely weird. And then she has a feeling that this boy is so familiar to her. So she decides to, at the party, try and figure out if he might have been at the coffee shop that day. So she goes over to somewhere in the house, and she goes to try and find bandages at this party. She ends up finding bandages in the medicine cabinet, and she goes up to Ethan, and she's like, hi, but no, actually, instead, she goes up to him, and she spills something on him. Yeah. And when she does, it gets on his bandage, which is on his hand. He's like, ugh, are you serious? Because he isn't a nice person. He's not a nice person. Not in this one. Not in this story. I don't know. He gets soft maybe later on. But, I mean, he's not a nice person. So then afterwards, he's like, oh my gosh, really? Watch where you're going. She's like, I'm sorry. I'll get you another bandage. Look, here, I have some right here. And he goes, no, it's fine. Because he doesn't want, she doesn't know that he's the one from the coffee shop. But she has a feeling he's the one from the coffee shop. But he doesn't want her removing that bandage because he is the one from the coffee shop. So she goes and just rips the bandage off right away. And he's like, and then she looks at the cut and she goes, she's just like holding his hand at this point. And she's just going, wow, that's a pretty deep cut. And he's like, it's none of your business. And he snatches a bandage from her. Yeah. While he does that. So he snatches and is like, none of your business. So Hannah, being Hannah, decides to tell her father, the chief of police, what Madison said really happened at the coffee shop. The next day, Madison is at home. It's the weekend now. It's the weekend because it's the weekend now. Yeah. So, it's the weekend, and the chief of police, Hannah's dad, decides to call her in for questioning. And she's completely like, what's going on? I don't understand. Why am I being called in for questioning? So, her father's like, hey, I just want to talk to you, Madison. Hannah told me that you said there was a boy with superpowers and he stopped the armed robber. As questioning goes on, she's starting to realize that Hannah's dad is telling her, you did not see a boy with superpowers, so stop saying you saw a boy with superpowers. So she decides the next day at school that she's going to confront Ethan. Yes. So she decides to go and confront him. And when she does, it's like during lunchtime or something. I picture he's a little bit of a loner. He sits by himself. He is the new kid after all. So she goes up to him and just sits down right in front of him, and she goes, were you at the coffee shop yesterday? And he's just like, who told you can sit here? And then she's like, me. I told myself I can sit here. Now answer my question. Were you at the coffee shop the other day? And then he's like, and he says, why would it matter to you? And she says, look, I'm answering the questions here. I'm asking the questions here. And he's going, I don't know what you're talking about. And then she goes, and it's a simple question. Yes or no, were you there? And he goes, I don't like coffee. And then she goes, well, they serve more than coffee. They serve tea. Do you like tea? And he's like, no, I don't like tea. And then she goes, well, they serve pastries. Do you like pastries? And then he's like, no, not a big fan. And then after she's like, okay, so you don't like anything at that coffee shop, but that doesn't mean that you weren't there. You could have been there doing homework or something. And then afterwards he's like, well, I like to do homework at home, so I was there. And then eventually she realizes Ethan's not gonna give up. He's not going to say whether he was at the coffee shop the other day. That's the end of the fan fiction for now. We're Chapter 1. Maybe we'll actually write this up and put it on Wattpad because this is getting good. And I'm not gonna lie, it's really good. I like this. Thanks for watching. We really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to our main channel. If you guys would like to check out yesterday's video on Squared, click right over there. If you would like to see more of us on Squared, click right up there. And if you would like to subscribe to the Squared channel, click right over here. We'll see you next time. Bye!